I mean, my hyperfixation food of jalapeno poppers is... I mean, I just keep buying them. I love them. I can't stop eating them, but now I'm so hot. It's so hot in here.
Welcome to Scary Mystery Surprise,
where we talk about scary things that surprised us around the internet.
I'm Edwin.
I'm Michelle. So we are going to talk about the legend of Edward Mordrake. Do you know who that is?
No. I thought you were going to say Edward Scissorhands.
No, not Edward Scissorhands. Edward Mordrake. You don't know this story?
No. What? Wait, what's it? Okay, never mind. I'm going to wait until you go into the episode to find out because I'm excited, but I might know.
I think you'll know once I get into it, but it is a legend. We're in England, 19th century England. So, cue the countryside, cue some birds chirping. I don't know, lambs. Maybe a cart. I mean, maybe there's rain, because this tale is very dark. It's very dark and gothic.
And it's England, you said,
Oh,
right?
yeah, of course it's England. Where else does it rain like this?
It's raining then.
Yeah, it's definitely raining. There might be some castles, we don't know. Definitely some manor houses, because it's the countryside. Edward Mordrake was a lovely young man, born into a wealthy and influential family. But from birth, he was cursed with a second face on the back of his head. You know this story.
Yes, I do know this story.
The face was said to be expressive and beautiful, but also malevolent, and would whisper terrible things to Edward, urging him to do unspeakable acts of violence and depravity. Which makes you wonder what that is. You know what I mean? Like, what is that face saying?
It's like, eat that last jalapeno popper. You're gonna feel great.
You're gonna feel so good. Just do it. Eat those jalapeno poppers. You're not gonna get too hot.
Or just like take that, innocent theft.
Yeah, like a the last cookie or whatever, or you stole a pie from a window, which I imagine was like the English countryside. They had a lot of pies on windows, so
I'm pretty, I don't know, unless it's like evil things like, yeah, push that baby down the stairs.
Shove your maid in the oven. Yeah. So anyway, Edward's dealing with this nightmare of having a second face on the back of his face. It's a rough time for him.
That would be pretty annoying.
It would be annoying. I mean, how would you sleep?
It's like you can't breathe. It's like, how do you go into the pool?
It made jumping into pools very awkward for Edward.
It's like two noses to cover when something stinks. Imagine, oh no, like in modern day, in an airplane. Imagine an airplane seat.
Oh, God. And then there's just this weird head there that's just blinking and going at you. I kind of imagine it not being fully able to speak, but Edward being able to, translate it with his thoughts, since they share a brain. Edward tried everything to rid himself of this cursed face, but nothing worked. He became a recluse, hiding away in his family's mansion and never venturing into the world. But even in his isolation, he could hear the second face's whispers, driving him further and further into madness. And then one night, the whispers grew too loud to ignore. Unable to bear the torment of the curse any longer, Edward begged doctors to remove the extra face, but none of them were willing to attempt surgery. And then I actually did some research about if you needed to remove your face from the back of your head. And so this was like what the science was, but I tried to put it in the story. The extra face would be intricately connected to the main face with shared blood vessels and nerves and other structures. Attempting to separate the faces could cause massive bleeding, nerve damage, and other serious complications that could even be fatal. Moreover, in the case of a supernatural extra face, it would be impossible to physically remove it through surgery, as it would not be a physical entity that could be cut away. So, he's got a serious problem here. It's a serious problem.
It's like, I feel bad, but like up to a limit. I mean, how hard, he's isolated in a mansion.
If you're privileged enough, you can just be a rich weirdo with a weird extra face.
You could. Hello, evil villain. Like, you could just be a villain in something. Call yourself Extra Face.
Or, Extra Face. Or, like, Two-Face, like Batman.
Yeah.
Literally like the villain that exists already.
I think I mentioned to you once about how an elementary school teacher once told me that she had eyes in the back of her head.
I just wish she had done that thing where she just would have parted the back, like just worn fake eyeballs. One day, parted the back of her head, freaked out all the kids, and then, she would have never had to wear them again.
Yeah, just one time. There you go.
She's got a face in there.
Mission accomplished.
You got to.
But I loved being a kid. Like, it was
just the magic level. I mean, like, a teacher could have eyes in the back of their head, and then you could find out that they were actually an alien or something. The possibilities were endless. Instead of just like a terrible teacher.
Yeah.
Which is like what when you reflect on it later, you're like, oh.
This is kind of sidetracking, but speaking of teachers, when people started, and this is a serious topic, I guess, but like when teachers would do inappropriate things, as in like that were questionable, like why would you massage
what
a girl in the class? Sorry, maybe it was just my teachers.
Maybe I don't think we ever had a massage. We had some teachers that hit students and got fired.
Wow, as a kid, I didn't think any of these things were bad until your teacher ends up on the news for
oh god,
touching somebody in exchange for an A.
Oh no, that's the worst. Because it's like a grade school A. It's not even a college A.
Oh no, hold on. This was high school, so I guess still grade school.
Oh, high school A.
Yeah, but I mean, my point is like you don't know when you're a kid. You don't know that this stuff is serious, right? And I feel like people take advantage of that, which is terrible. And I hope if anything happens and anybody's young listening, please report it. Please report it.
Please report it. I mean, I was in school when Mary Kay Letourneau did her thing. Do you remember that story? That was a Washington story.
Oh,
and she ended up getting pregnant twice by that student. She couldn't stay away from him. But then they got married, and now she's dead.
It's a good story.
Thank you.
Anyway, we went really off track here.
Back to Edward Mordrake. He tried to hide the face with top hats and hooded cloaks. The face could laugh and cry and always seemed to find a way to peek out and remind the world of its presence.
No.
Can you imagine having a top hat on and then it just going a little bit like, and then there's just a face there?
Where was his face? Was it like...
I imagine it directly on the back of his head, but I guess it could be anywhere on the back of his head. So it's like, what's he going to do? Wear a big sun hat? I guess he could. Why didn't he just grow his freaking hair over it?
True. There you go. Or just wear a wig if you don't have hair. But
yeah, I mean, he could have become like a barrister, and they wear those little wigs in England still. Those little weird powder wigs.
Imagine you have to shave the face, like shave its beard. And
oh, God. You know what's weird? I always imagined the face as a woman, but I don't know why I did that.
Oh, huh.
I maybe like a Muppet, like a genderless Muppet, just weirdly unaging, like, I don't know. It can laugh and cry, though, so.
I mean, I feel kind of bad for it. Trying to cover it up, it's probably just like, I can't breathe.
Let me out! Let me out! Get me out of here!
You ever try to like move something like with your nose, like your glasses, like adjust them or something?
Yeah, I just imagine it would start crying if he wore the hat or laughing, just to make sure he was always in an awkward situation. Always. Just to ruin his life, literally constantly. Because, he's he's putting hats over it, so why not ruin his life? Oh, I made a note about trying to smother the face with a pillow or grow my hair over it. That's what I would try to. I just imagine wrapping my head in plastic to try and I get that there's no plastic in the 19th century, but just wrapping it to try it like a turban, maybe? You do a turban. Oh, wait, wasn't that a Harry Potter? Was that a Harry Potter character? Did that guy have a head on the back of his head in the turban?
Well, confession, I've never read or seen any Harry Potter.
Neither have I.
Oh, okay then. I don't know.
Pause for effect. I'm just going to do some whispering right now so I can be the face of whatever it is. Or should it just go like a goldfish?
Oh, that's creepy for some reason. Yeah, that one's yeah.
I mean, or it just whispers only he can hear it, and it's like dickhead.
God, or I imagine more like grunts, and then crying.
Wah, wah.
I don't know why I feel bad for that face.
I mean, you should. I think, we don't know what it was. Did it have a personality? Was it just like a demon on the back of his head? I don't know. Because if it's supernatural, no doctor's going to be able to cut that off. Which I love how scientific that sounds, is that if it's not a physical entity, a doctor's not going to be able to help you.
No, I think maybe I feel bad because that guy had to it was just hide pretty much because of that. When I was a kid and I would get warts in my hands, I would want to hide them. It was so embarrassing.
Oh yeah, I get that. I definitely got warts on my hand in college, and I'd always just pull my sleeves over my hands while I was because the art department was so dirty. We all ended up just randomly getting warts for a year. Everybody just got, and not sexual warts, just regular warts. Just regular hand warts. Not from cool, fun orgies, but from filth.
So not genital warts, but...
Not genital warts, but legit hand warts from... all sharing dirty art supplies and I don't know, no one taking any baths or something like that. For some reason, I went back to talk at that college and I was like, this is this is so dirty. This place is so dirty. I can't even function with how dirty it is.
Wait, I thought, did you say you went to talk there?
Yeah. I've gone back to talk. Yeah.
And wait, I imagined you were saying that to the audience.
No, but I said it to my professor. I definitely said it to him when we were behind the scenes or getting dinner afterwards.
Oh, man. Imagine just having a big old wart in your head, behind your face.
No, you'd want to hide. You'd want to wear a top hat. You'd want to wear the top hat.
But
also a wart that whispers evil things to you. Because this voice always whispered dark and terrible things, urging Edward to give into his darkest impulses and thoughts. It whispered of pain, suffering, revenge, anger, and all things hidden deep within Edward's soul. Some versions of the legend even suggest that the face controlled Mordrake's actions and thoughts, driving him to commit terrible acts. And they never list what they say, but I'm imagining he pushed Grandma down the stairs or something like that,
Yep, push someone down into a well or...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not innocent stuff like eat that last pancake.
In the end, the legend goes, Edward Mordrake took his own life at the age of 23, unable to bear the torment of his second face any longer. His last request was that his extra face be destroyed before he was buried, so it would never torment him in the afterlife.
Wow.
I know. Well, it's worth noting there is no historical evidence to support the existence of Edward Mordrake and his extra face. There's nothing. Although there were some photos making the rounds on the internet for a while, even though they look real, they are all fake. And this legend is likely, just to scare people.
What could be the lesson, though?
Honestly, I think the lesson is you let your negative thoughts win, pretty much, and dominate and take over. And so you can always kind of battle with that duality. I think there's something there.
Okay, I can see that.
However, the story has captured the imagination of many people over the years. It's been the subject of songs, plays, and there's even a character, I think he's called Edward Mordrake on American Horror Story. I think he's on the American Story Freak Show season.
Sorry, but did you say songs?
Yeah, there was an example of a song, but I didn't listen to it, but it was by a band called The Movement or something like that.
So it wasn't like there once was a man who had another face.
No, but I wish. It was that. He had another face and it whispered stuff and it whispered stuff and it whispered stuff. I think I imagine it as a jug band, whoo.
There was a man who had another face.
And the album will be coming out this fall. So there's also no clear origin of the Edward Mordrake story, because there's a bunch of conflicting accounts. It's suggested that it could be based on a real person who lived in the 19th century, although there is little concrete evidence to support this. One possible source of the legend is a medical textbook from the late 1800s called Anomalies and Curiosities of Medicine, which briefly described a man named Mordrake who was said to have an extra face on the back of his head.
So it might be real.
It might be real, but they're saying that the book could have exaggerated because it's, 1800s anomalies and curiosities in medicine. Also, the Victorians were super into superstition and popular imagination and tales of monstrous beings with multiple heads or faces, and they loved freak shows and displays of human oddities, and that could possibly be where the Mordrake story became a phenomenon.
Wow, I didn't know they were that intense. I think that's how they're going to talk about us and true crime in the future.
I think so too. Well, the Victorians were obsessed with true crime too. They're just not as graphic as we are, I guess, and don't have, it was it'd have to be in printed media. We'd have to, instead of...
Yeah, given the tech, I think they would have been, yeah.
Have you ever been to a freak show?
No, and I don't think I would want to.
I went to the one on Venice Boardwalk. I never need to again. I never need to go to any freak show again. Because really, there are no freaks. Aren't we the freaks?
He got to you.
The legend of Edward Mordrake might have also been inspired by real medical conditions or phenomena that were poorly understood or misinterpreted at the time. In the 19th century, for example, there were several documented cases of people with parasitic twin syndrome, a rare condition in which a partially formed twin develops within another person's body, and this could manifest as extra limbs, organs, or even a head, which feels the most likely if this were real.
That reminds me of that Office episode, The Office, where Dwight's he resorbed the body of his twin, and he was and now I have the strength of an adult man and of a little baby.
Look, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Oh, what would that look like?
I don't imagine it would be a full... I think they'd have to get it when you were little. I think they'd get it. I think they'd... Whatever that looks... They're not going to leave an extra head on you or an extra arm. You know what I mean? Or just not.
Oh, no.
At least now. Unless you were going to make it big in the Victorian freak show, which... Sometimes they had really good lives in the Victorian freak show, So, can't knock it at that time.
Making some money.
Regardless of its origins, the legend of Edward Mordrake has persisted over the years and continues to capture the imagination of people around the world. Whether or not there is any truth to the story, it remains a haunting and unsettling tale of a man cursed with a voice that whispers his nightmares in the dark. Dun 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 dun.
Oh, jeez. I thought you were going to say at one point, like, well, if you know how they say that turn the other cheek, turn the other face, you guys.
Turn the other cheek. We have 4 cheeks to work. No, I guess you got your butt cheeks. We have 6 cheeks to work with here. So pick a cheek and just turn it.
The world is a cruel place, you guys. Be careful out there.
Be careful out there. You might grow a face on the back of your head. There might be some sort of supernatural curse that makes you grow a face on the back of your head. So
that's terrible.
And then also you might eat jalapeno poppers before you have to do a story and spend the whole time really sweaty and hot. That's me letting my inner voice win too. Like my second face won.
It's that face whispering at you.
It's the face. It's my second face just going
Just
crazy.
Have those jalapeno poppers.
Have them. It's fine. You won't be hot. You won't be hot.
I mean, we're kind of freaky sometimes, Michelle. Like,
it's true.
People should support us by leaving a review.
Oh, 100% they should leave a review. Also, I'm actually just the face on the back of Edwin's head. That's that's actually been our secret this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we don't record ourselves on video. Like,
yeah, he just has to set up a mic behind him in the studio, and then I just get to talk finally because he normally has a hat on, and I don't get to talk. So, and then he finally fed me the jalapeno poppers I wanted. Like, been asking for weeks to get jalapeno poppers, and he wouldn't give me any, and he just kept this hat on, and I was just, oh, God. No wonder I just whisper, like, evil things all the time. I'm just so mad.
Well, with that image in our minds, what are we going to talk about next week, Michelle?
I don't know, but I'm sure it'll be a surprise. See you guys.
Bye.